All a business is at the end of the day is just a math equation. And in this video, we're going to break down exactly what I mean by that, why it's extremely important for you to understand that your business is just a math equation into 3 different parts. Number 1, what do I mean when I say this? Number 2, why is it important to understand this concept? And then 3, how do you actually go about implementing this concept in your organization? Where we see a lot of newer business owners go wrong, or business owners that build their business off the back of organic going completely wrong, is they think that a piece of content or taking an action will result in a client or a consumer or whatever. And although they are not wrong there, the problem with this is they do not understand the volume that is required of content and of action to sign said client. For example, if we look at an agency model, like what we do a lot of cold outreach. Just because we send a couple of messages does not mean we will sign a client. We need to know how many. And if you did this exercise with your business, you would know exactly what needs to occur in order for you to see ABC result or whatever your goals are. So let's look at this from any business scenario. If, let's say, I'm running paid ads, how much money do I need to spend to sign a client? What is my average cost per acquisition? At its core, it's a very simple concept. What is the volume of work? What is the volume of effort? What is the volume of ad dollars that I need to spend, the volume of hires, whatever it is that I need to take action on in order to see the result that I'm looking for? Let's say I want to sign 5 clients. How much volume of the action do I need to take? Same thing with paid ads. Let's say I want to sign 5 clients. How much more money do I need to spend to sign 5 clients? That's it. If you know the math, you can now begin to predict what scale looks like. The secret to this, which I'll cover in the implementation phase of this process, is your ability to work backwards. But before I get into that, the reason that this is so important is because it allows you to build a machine. If you started a business and you have a desire to exit said business, do you think a buyer is going to buy your organization if they have no idea how you got the revenue numbers you're at? If you said, hey man, we're making $1 million a month, we're making $100,000 a month, I want to exit, making $10 million a month, whatever the number is, we're making all this money, but I honestly have no idea how it's working. I just run good ads and I look at my P&L at the end of the month. No one's going to buy that because no one knows how stable the business is. Are you relying on one lever? Is it a market condition? Are your CPMs really low for some weird reason? Have you never run ads during a holiday? Have you only run ads during a holiday? What's your sales team like? How many salespeople does it take up? What is the diversification of the revenue? How many clients make up the amount of revenue? How much of that is recurring? What's the average LTV? Your math allows you to create the asset. The math creates the asset. The math creates the machine. If you don't do the math, you don't have a business. You have something that makes money and you've gotten lucky enough to make the money you're making. You may have a skill set, but you don't have a machine. You can't take what you're doing and pass it on to the next guy. And so that's why it's so important, because by doing the math and by understanding the math, you can predict how you're going to handle those contractions when you go to scale. And you actually build an asset because your buyers or people you bring into your organization know what it's supposed to look like. And so how do we actually go about implementing this? There's a couple of ways. Number 1, start by just tracking. And if you don't know where to start, you can book a call with us below. We'll run you through the metrics we track for all of our clients, the ones that matter, the ones that don't matter, and the ones that typically lead to important decisions being made. But first thing you need to do is just start tracking your numbers. And if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm literally going to track every single number that I see. My ad spend, my CPMs, reach, impressions, click-through rate, link click-through rate, hook rate, hold rate, all of these, I'm going to track literally every single metric that I can. And eventually what you'll do is you figure out which ones actually matter and which ones don't. But we're just going to start logging everything. And if this takes an hour out of my day when I'm first getting started, so be it. I'm going to manually track every single number. Once I've done that, I will begin to see what it looks like to acquire a client. And this is typically the math you need to do on the front end to start. Is, again, let's go back to the ad spend dollars. If I spend $10,000 on ads and I have a $100 CPM and I have a 2% click-through rate, let's say that books me, I don't know, 20 calls. And let's say I have we'll just do 10 for easy math. Typically calls aren't this expensive, but 10 calls. Let's say I have a 70% show rate, I got a 30% close rate, and my average sale price is, we'll just call it 10 grand. To make things easy. What I now know is if I put $10,000 in, I'm going to get 30% of 7 is, let's just call it 20K. I'm going to make $20,000, which is a 2x return on my ad spend. Not great, but now I know. And now what I can say is, okay, if nothing changed, and there's another video on my channel about how to know what to tweak, you can check that out somewhere here. I actually released earlier this week. I know that if I spend $10,000, I make 2 times the amount of calls, or I make 2x return on my ad spend. The other thing to take into account here is the volume. So one of the interesting things you can look at is $10,000 in this scenario, not even close to what we typically see. Is that enough volume to say with certainty that I need to make a change inside of my funnel? No, it's not, because I've only had 10 calls. It's not even close to the amount of volume. Now, if I had 100 calls, would I feel much more confident in making that decision? Absolutely. Do we encourage you wait for 100 calls? No, you can typically start making decisions around 15 to 20. But if I wait for 100 calls, then I can certainly say, yeah, this is what it looks like. We need to tweak a couple of things. And so the last concept that's really important to understand with doing the math is the law of large numbers. And this is one of the most common problems in the agency space. If I send 100 outreach messages a day, I'm just going to use agency because this is what I see typically in every agency owner I speak to. If I do 100 outreach a day and I get a 5% reply rate, and we'll just say 50% book calls, I'm booking 2.5 calls for every 100 outreaches. It's not enough volume to make a decision. What most people do is they send 20 messages and they go, oh yeah, everything looks good. Time to scale or time to kill it. You have to do more volume than you expect. I've recently been listening to Grant Cardone's The Power of 10X. Great audiobook, by the way. And it's really emphasizing this idea that it takes a lot more volume than you expect to get the result that you want. And so in terms of implementing, again, all you're doing is just writing out your numbers, figuring out the math behind whatever you're looking to do, and then going from there. In this scenario, I described client acquisition, but this works for really anything. Let's say I'm hiring sales reps. How many interviews does it take to get a good candidate? Once I know that number, I now know in order to get the amount of sales reps that I want, I need to get X amount of interviews. If my fulfillment starts to break, I need to know how many clients per customer success manager, or how many clients per coach, how many clients per this, how many clients per that. Do I need to change my fulfillment model? But I can do the math and I can say, okay, if I ramp acquisition, how do I need to ramp my CSM? And what ends up happening when you do the math is you build this predictable engine where you know, for example, if I put X amount of dollars in, if I spend X amount of dollars, I'm going to make this much money, which means I'm going to sign this many clients, which means I need to hire this many CSMs. Or again, if I spend, I'm going to book this many calls, which is going to sign me X number of clients, which is going to make me X number of money, which then is going to cause me to need to hire this many CSMs. And what I've done is I now know the math equation behind what scale looks like from start to finish. If you've been struggling to predictably scale, or you wonder why things are moving slower than you expect, or you've never even done this exercise before, number one, book a call with us. We'll run through your entire business. We'll figure out what you need to track, what's not being tracked properly, where your actual constraint is. And then number two, in the meantime, just start logging everything. I don't care if it's fancy AI, if it's this, if it's that, just get the numbers down. And once you have those numbers, you know exactly what needs to be done to get where you're trying to go. I hope that helped, guys, in terms of why understanding your business is just a math equation. Been a topic that's been very forefront of mind recently, so I hope this brings some value to you. If you want more content like this, go ahead and drop a comment below, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like I said, there's some other videos on a topic similar to this you can check out. And in the meantime, I will see you in the next one.